This is Ahmer from Leap for Fight TV. I'm here with Elia. Elia,
Yes.
it's nice actually sitting down chilling with you, and you've even got to drink some weird green tea. We'll have half a lettuce. So we're chilled.
Half a lettuce.
Half a lettuce. Yeah. Let me adjust the camera. Make sure you're in shot. There we go.
Sure.
I'll tell you what. The first thing I want to know is how are you feeling? It's been like coming up 2 months now since your last fight.
Yeah.
How are you feeling right now that you're retired?
I feel good. I feel good and I feel rested. So I'm not running around anymore. I'm not stressed about training. Even doing laundry, even washing my wraps and my training clothes, I just feel good.
Nice. How does it like when you're fighting? It's very much your whole life.
Yeah.
In terms of training and eating and social time and everything. Like, how has it been transitioning from that lifestyle to yourself now? What has that been like? Has it been hard or has it been quite?
So it's been a relief, but also a bit hard in terms of now I have a lot more time to think in terms of what has been probably pushed away for the last 10 years. In terms like mentally I have a lot more space, because before it was my days were quite regimented. So I would wake up at this time, I would do this, go to work, go to train, eat, take a little nap maybe, then go back to work, go train. So it was very on the ball, and there was really not really any space for myself.
Yeah.
Because the free times that I had, I would have to spend resting or sleeping or whatever. And now the free time that I have is just free time. So now there's a lot of thinking that goes on. Yeah.
Has it changed your relationship with Muay Thai? Because now you're not fighting.
Yeah.
Can you enjoy it in a different way now?
Yeah. It's so much different. Even when I go train now and I spar. So before I used to spar quite a lot, obviously because fighting and everything. Now I just spar once a week, if that. And then even like my teammates are like, "Oh look, you're smiling, you're just having fun." Everything's like, I don't have to work on anything. I don't have to stress. I don't have to, think about, when you're sparring, when you're preparing for a camp, you have to work on specific thing for your opponent and everything. Now I'm just having fun with it. And it's a lot nicer to go into training and being able to enjoy it again, kind of like when I first started, as opposed to just going with a goal. I have no goal or purpose now. I'm just training for the sake of training. And I'm eating before training as well. It's great to have breakfast before training.
Nice. So if we go back to when you decided to retire, was that like a hard decision for you to make, or did you feel like it's the right time?
So it wasn't hard because I had thought about retiring even before that fight. So when I fought Hannah, which was 2 years ago now.
Yeah.
When I got matched for that fight, and it was October, end of October, I thought to myself, right, after this fight, this is it. I'm done, right? And the fight went the way it went, and it was my first and only A-class fight with no elbow pads. And I was like, no, I can't go out like that. Like, I want to be able to kind of... So then I gave it another year, and then after I fought Izzy, I was like, it's really time. Like, there's no point pushing it anymore now.
Yeah.
I've had like several A-class fights. I went abroad. I fought for a world title in K1. And then I was like, it's good time. So I remember after that fight with Izzy, I was talking with my coach. I was like, what am I doing wrong? Again and everything. And he was like, it's all right. It's not that big a deal. We'll talk after.
Yeah.
And I think I took 2 weeks out from training. And then when I went back, he was talking to me. He's like, right, there's another fight in December against Pilar and everything. Do you want it? Do you want to take it? And I said, I want to fight. I want a rematch. But after that, I'm done. And then that was it.
Yeah.
It felt natural. It didn't feel like I was being forced to stop. It was just like, I think it's about
It's
time.
interesting. We just touched on that a little bit because there's a bit where sometimes you feel fighters go on a bit too long, and you obviously made that decision. And I would much like to get your opinion on it. what do you think? Is it better? It's not that it's better, obviously it will be, but better for you to kind of decide where you want to conclude your journey in terms of the fight side of it? Do you think it's better to be like that rather than being forced to end it?
I think it's better when you come to terms, obviously, like anything, because then you have closure. When you're being forced to quit in terms of whether it's because you're injured or because life is a bit too much, whatever reason, if it's not your decision to quit, but you have to do it, it's like you always feel like, what if, and maybe something is missing, which is why I didn't stop after the Hannah Brady fight. I was like, okay, maybe I can do a little more. But then after that, I was like, yeah, that's it. That's enough. You can't, there's no point of forcing it now. You had the right thoughts before, and now it's just done. Enough with it.
I think that's important as well, to know when you've achieved what you wanted to achieve.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean? Like you said, you have the conclusion, you have the closure, because there's always another fight, and there's always another opportunity.
The ring will always be there. There will always be a ring. Even if I decide 10 years from now, I want to go and fight, which will never happen. I want to go and fight again. There will be a ring for me to go fight in. So
from the Elia that walked into the gym day one to the Elia now hang up her fight gloves.
Yeah.
What's that journey been like for you on a personal level?
So, I mean, there's been a lot of ups and downs, but it's been good in terms of elevating myself in certain aspects of my life. Other aspects, you just have to work. So I've achieved, like, I've developed discipline. I've always been persistent, but now I've become persistent in a different way, in terms of having to pick yourself back up. Because as much as you have your team and coaches and all that stuff, when something bad happens in a fight, even whether you lose or you win, but when you feel something has gone, you have to pick yourself back up. And it's on you to do it.
Yeah.
Nobody else can do that. And I think that's what Muay Thai or my entire career has taught me, that sometimes you just have to get on with it and get up and just try again if you need to try again.
What's been, if you had to look back over all the fights that you've had, what's the one fight you look back and you're going to take with you and say, actually, you know what? I love that.
One fight. Oh. Do you know what? I had a very good fight when I went in Germany. So there's two, and both of them two of them actually. When I went to Athens and I fought in the World's K1 and I was in the finals, and it was that fight was just so hectic, just the lead up to it. So my coach was helping another fighter, not from my team, from someone else. Like their coach had left them and everything, and he was like on Team England, and he was like, "All right, just stay here. You're not up for quite some time anyway. I'll go help this guy and then I'll come back." And I was, all right, cool. And then next thing I know, 10 minutes in, I hear my name being called out and I'm just stressed. I'm stressed. I'm not warmed up. I'm pretty much just waking up really, because I was just lying down listening to music. You have to put my stuff on and just head to the ring. And I'm heading to the ring. My coach is not there. And especially at the time, I was quite a nervous fighter. My coach has always been there, just talking in my ear and just like, "Oh, you got this." And I'm walking to the ring, I'm by myself. And then luckily he got there. I see him running towards me and I was like, "Oh, okay." So first round, half asleep. I didn't get that. And then the second round, that's when I start picking things back up and everything. But it was just such a weird feeling in terms of again, you know how you just have to pick yourself back up. But I remember every round. The first round, I was just it's like I was underwater. I was just I was hearing woof, woof behind me. My coach, I usually hear him quite clearly, but it wasn't a big gymnasium and there's a tournament. And then I came back to the corner. He was like, "You have to wake up. You have to wake up." And I was like, okay. I lost the fight, but it was I don't know, it was just a very different experience. It was just very odd and but I'll remember that fight for the rest of my life, I think. And the girl, I'm still friends with her. I still speak to her every once in a while. And then she came back and she gave me a t-shirt from her gym as well and everything. It was very nice.
Nice. Second one, you said there was
The
two.
second one was in Germany that happened last year, June, when I had the journey from hell to get there. It was so bad. So I cut down to 55 kilos, which I hadn't done in quite a while. So I made it, but so we were flying, the fight was on the Saturday, and we were flying on the Friday morning to get to the weigh-in for around 4 o'clock over there. And then the fight would be on the Saturday evening quite late. So I did my weight cut before, which was on the Thursday. So I'm already on the plane quite depleted. No drink, you know how weight cuts go. And then we get to Germany and there's strikes, there's cancellations, there's just everything. One train after the other gets canceled. We were meant to arrive at the place to weigh in at around 2 o'clock, between 12 and 2. We didn't get there until 7-ish in the evening on that Friday evening. So in the midst of things, when we're waiting, I'm probably just like, my coach probably seeing me half dead. And you know, when you get that white foam around your lips because you're dehydrated and everything. And then he said, I'm going to call the promoter. And he calls the promoter. And then he was like, you know what? Just drink something. So I drank. I was like, I had to, like, it was, otherwise I probably would have passed out or I think. Yeah. So I drank. And I get to the weigh-in, like around 7 o'clock-ish or something like that, or 6. And I step on the scale. I'm obviously overweight now, 56 kilos.
Oh, wow.
And I'm dead. Like, first of all, I didn't sleep. I didn't need it. And then he was like, you have to lose the weight. I was like, I guess I have to, you know? And I was running laps. I was skipping. I did a bit of shadow boxing. I hit pads and everything. I didn't lose the weight. I didn't make it. I couldn't. It was just like, I was sweating and everything, but I think it was at the point where the body is just, at certain point, your body is just saying, stop. I was on weight when I left, but because of everything that's happened. And then the promoter was decent enough. It was like, it's not on you. So he let it go. And I think we spoke to the camp and everything, and it was all right. And then in that fight, first round was all right. And then middle of second round, whoosh, just all the energy drained, gone, absolutely gone. And it was 5 3-minute rounds. K1, not Muay Thai. K1. So,
pace is fast.
So the pace is fast, so you have to hit. And I remember the end of the second round, I get caught with a left head kick. And this is the first time I've been rocked ever in a fight. And I was just like, and and it was in a cage. The cage was quite big. I'm on the other end in her corner and the bell rings when I'm rocked. And I'm like, I have to walk back to my corner and I'm trying to, so I don't get counted, because I didn't get counted.
Yeah.
I think the ref probably didn't see it or whatever. And I'm walking, trying to walk in a straight line. And I think I'm doing this. And then my coach comes and grabs me. I'm like, oh, I'm rocked. And he's like, it's okay. And it's funny because Solano was there actually as well. Yeah. So it was nice also to see his face there. That fight was crazy. It's a crazy fight. The lead up to the fight, it was good. It was a good fight.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know how I did it. I don't know how I did it. I don't know.
Nice. But like you said, those are the experiences they're going to remember. And
you remember them. It's crazy.
You touched on it a little bit. What's your relationship like with crew? Because you've had the same crew the whole way through. Mm-hmm. What's that like in terms of having him in your corner?
So I've always had, I think my entire pro career, I've had my crew in the corner all the time. When I was doing amateur and interclubs and everything, it's been like different fighters, but my entire pro career, it's been him. And I don't think I can picture myself fighting or competing in anything without him there, because he's always been that constant, that, you know, that person that you trust, that person that he has your best interest at heart in there. Like if something were to happen, he'll throw the towel in, you know. He's never made me feel bad about losing a fight. He's never made me feel bad about my performance. Obviously, he's given pointers and it's like, right, you need to improve on this, but never in a way of like, oh, you're rubbish, if that makes sense. So obviously, I still go train now. It's not like I'm gone. I still train. I think a lot less. I train about 2 or 3 times a week. And I still see him, and it's always nice now. It's nice when I'm hitting pads. And sometimes I look at him, I smile. I'm like, I don't have to kill myself on the pad work. You know, like I don't cheat. I don't have to go. "Blah." It's just nice, chill now. So it's good.
Through your journey
Yeah,
as female Muay Thai fighter,
yeah.
what do you think's happened to the female Muay Thai division from when you walked in to now? Do you think it's in a better place now? Do you think there's more females into it, or do you
I
think?
think there are more females into it because when I started, and I remember I was talking about this with Daniela,
Yeah.
which I fought twice, and we used to call each other the queens of rematches because there weren't that many, so we've had to have quite a few rematches. So although it's not, the categories aren't massive now, they're definitely bigger than what they used to be. Like you couldn't. So now, for the last 3 or 4 years, I've been able to fight about 3 times a year, more if I wanted to. But before, it wasn't like that. I'll be lucky to get 2 fights in, between the pullouts or just not having a match.
Do you think you played a part in that as well? Because
Oh.
it's one of those where if you're a female and you're walking into a Muay Thai gym, it's predominantly combat, right? Everyone associates it with male and
Yeah.
men and all of this. But when you start seeing female fighters out there doing stuff, right, you then feel like, yeah, this might be something that I can actually achieve. And I know you're humble and you're not going to say you're not, but from me covering it, I feel like yourself have played a part in it, in the sense that people have looked up to you and seen Elia fighting, thinking, I might have a little crack at it. Whether they go and become pro fighters, A-class, or even just have a couple of N-class, it's like you broke, that generation of fighters has broken a barrier, and then the others are coming behind. Do you not feel that, like, a little bit?
I don't know. I don't think so. I feel like I didn't really have any much relevance to it, in my opinion. I don't know if it's not because I'm not seeing it, but I don't know. It's I don't personally think so. If people say me otherwise, then I'm happy I've had, because it's not, Muay Thai is not just for men, there are some good, decent female fighters out there, and I always like watching female fights because they're a lot more technical than the fights because, we are weaker, so to speak, have less strength than men, so we have to rely more on the technique, less of the brawl and stuff like that. So, I mean, I guess I hope so.
I don't know, like, if you look at boxing, right?
Yeah.
The heavyweights are the ones that everyone wants to watch.
Yeah.
Big, muscly guys with whatever, right? Muay Thai is a bit different because the heavyweights are a bit more slower, whereas the pace of Muay Thai, the lighter fighters are more exciting. And I think you had this mentality at the start where it was very much boxing mentality, where it was like, the smaller and the more lighter fighters are, you don't want to watch them. But when you start actually understanding Muay Thai, they excite you because the pace of it, and like you said, the technique and stuff like that. And from a media point of view, I think there's been a lot more engagement from fans to the women's fight division in terms of Muay Thai. And I do think you played a part, whether you think it or not, I do think you played a part.
Thank you.
So if you were, let's say, you're coaching now, you coach people, is that right?
No, really. I mean, I don't coach, like I teach a few classes, but they're more like strength and conditioning classes. And I teach kids class at my gym. So not coaching per se, but I do a few bits here and there.
So if you had a young fighter in front of you, female or male, that said to you, Elia, we want to become pro in Muay Thai eventually and so on, what advice would you give them?
I would say, there's so much. But I think the main thing to say is you have to believe in yourself that you can do it, and then you have to put in the work. You can't do it halfway. It's not, you can't come late to class. You can't do half of the stuff your coach is telling you to do. You can't cheat on your diet. You can't skip certain things. And I will say that it's hard. Some people are very deluded. They're like, oh, I'll just do this. And is really, really hard. You know, especially if you want to get to a certain level, it's not easy. You're a lot. It affects all aspects of your life, so you have to be ready to just put in the work.
Do you think the personal rewards, because there's not much financial reward, let's be honest,
There's
right?
no financial reward at all.
Do you think the personal rewards that you've gained,
Mm.
do you think they made the journey worthwhile for you?
It does. It does. And not only in terms of, you know, you building strength and all and skills and like it's just the people that you meet as
Yeah.
well. Like I've met you, Daniela, which I speak to literally every day. My teammates, some old teammates that stopped fighting, like we're still quite close. It's it's nice, you know, and you see people from different parts of life, you know. You can have doctors, you have firemen, you have lawyers, you meet like personal trainers, you meet people that just do absolutely anything.
Yeah.
And they come together because they're in the same Muay Thai class. It just wipes the slate clean for everyone. Like you're on the same level when you're in that class. So I think that's what I do cherish the most. It's just the people that I've met along the way.
Nice. What's next for you? So you're no longer fighting, and
Yeah.
that would have taken up a lot of your time.
Yeah,
So now you have more time.
yeah.
What are you working on now?
So I'm working a lot more. So I'm working online now, remote processor. Just I can focus on earning a lot more money. I started therapy, so that's good. Because I think that everybody that does go into fighting to a certain level, not the one that just do like, let me just do an inter club and stuff like that, but the people that are really up there at the top, you know how they say, oh, well, Muay Thai is my therapy and hitting the back, it's a band-aid, you know?
Yeah.
In order to get into the ring to do what it is that you're doing, like punching and kicking for that little amount of money, because we're not getting paid a lot, you know, for that little amount of money, that means that there is something that needs to be worked out within you.
Yeah.
And I do think that I think every single fighter, they need therapy. So I've started, I had one appointment with like a therapist last week, and they're like, cool, we have a lot to cover. And I was like, oh, great. And I was talking with Daniela as well. And she's like, you're going to love it. You're going to learn a lot about yourself. And I'm like,
Yeah.
didn't I learn enough already? So it's scary, but I think it's a journey that needs to be taken in order to be able to just truly be at peace.
Do you think that's a conversation that fighters need to have a little bit earlier on? And not just fighters, but generally, because even like in terms of what I do outside Elite Frog, there is a lot of people that would benefit from having a conversation, just talk through stuff, because a lot of people bury things.
Yeah.
And what they do is they'll start moving, they start doing other things, but never addressing the problem. And they're constantly moving, but the problem never goes. It follows them to a point that sometimes when you stop doing stuff, it catches you up, but now you're in a bad situation. I'm quite interested to know like your experience. I know you've done one session, but do you feel that's something that people would actually benefit from? You know, take time and have that
I think so. I think everybody, whether you're a fighter or not, but definitely fighters they would benefit from speaking to. Obviously, does it have to be a therapist? I think somebody that understands, but it definitely needs to be addressed.
Yeah.
Because then you have fighters that retire and then, as we were saying, they're no one.
Yeah.
You know, they're no one. They're not no one, but they feel like they're no one without it.
Yeah.
And then it just, you know, you see them, then the weight piles on, and then they just feel a bit lost.
Yeah.
And it's not, Muay Thai isn't everything, you know, as much as it might be for a certain period of time, but it's not everything. There's lots of things in the world that you can do. So it needs to be addressed so they're able to move on, I guess.
Yeah.
The therapist told me that I'm grieving.
Oh, wow.
So that's what she said.
Yeah.
So, and I was thinking, I'm like, it is a bit of, you know, because it's like something that's done and dusted, you know, fighting, or it's just a part that you have to literally bury now because you're not going to do it again. So yeah,
So she said you're grieving from being retired or grieving?
I'm grieving my fight career.
Interesting.
It is interesting, isn't it?
Interesting. Yeah, it is interesting. So I was having this conversation recently with someone, and I started to do interviews like this for TFL. I work for TFL, right? So interviews with them, and spoke to someone. She's very confident and so on, but there's a few little tells that you hear that makes you think that there's something there that you need to maybe address. Do you know what I mean? And it's interesting that you say that sometimes we don't realize that. Does it change how you interact with fighters now? So when you speak to fighters, do you like pick up on things now, thinking, actually, you know what, maybe you need to talk about this a little bit more?
Yeah, for sure. I have a friend, but they're preparing for a fight, but they're also struggling.
Yeah.
And I know it's frowned upon to pull out. But sometimes for your well-being, you have to do it.
Yeah.
And whether you're pulling out 6 weeks where you're giving a lot of heads up, or sometimes you have to do it like a week before the fight, 2 weeks before the fight. And I know it's not nice, especially for your opponent, and like, oh, because they put in the work, blah, 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 blah. But sometimes you get to that space, which luckily for me, I've never been in that space where I'm like, oh, I need to pull out of this fight because X, Y, and Z. I've always been quite good, I think, because I always take a lot of time in between my fights.
Yeah.
But you have to, because then it's just, because on top of that, because like you say, it's buried and then it catches up to you. And the worst thing that can happen is catching up to you inside the ring. And then that's when the bad things happen. Like obviously the worst case scenario is a knockout, or you're badly hurt, you break something or whatever. But then as fighters, we also dwell on our performance. Whether we win or we lose, we always think we're rubbish for whatever reason. We never look and be like, that was good. Even if you win with a great fight, I've never seen a fight. Yeah, that was good. I was good in that fight. No, it's never happened. I've spoken to many fighters. So, and then dwelling on that when you're going in that state into a fight, and then you dwell on that, it's just like a backlog of just so many bad things that you start thinking about. And then it goes on to the next fight camp, and then it goes on into. So if you don't deal with it now, it's just you're setting yourself up for failure, and then you don't even get to enjoy your fights.
Interesting. Do you think a lot of people, what's the word, they don't have enough self-love in sense of it's always like we have to serve. So like if you got a fight booked, I can't let them down. When in actual fact, that little bit of self-love says, you know what?
Yeah.
You need to step away from this and take a month or 2 months for yourself. But it's always like we don't want to let coach down, or we don't let the promoter down, or we don't want to let those people that bought tickets down, and so on. And sometimes you have to, it does take a strong mindset to say, actually, you know what, this is what I need right now to get me through this bit and come back stronger. Yeah, it's interesting.
The perfect example is Amro. It's not a perfect example, but it is, it goes, because I watched the interview that he had with Kieran, and then he was explaining what was going on during his fight camp. He said he had a good fight camp, but in the warm-up, he said he was vomiting, he didn't feel right and everything. Yeah. You have to pull it. I know it's not, it's gonna be like, oh, he pulled out, but really and truly, you shouldn't have gone in there if you're vomiting before the fight. But as a fighter, it's like, oh, the nerves, maybe it's this, maybe. But he said it that, he felt something wasn't quite right. Yeah. And he's never felt like that before. And then, I mean, touch wood, he got the help that he needed, and then he had the surgery and everything. So I think people can learn a lot from that experience, or from what he's gone through. Yeah. And then move forward within those things. And I know sometimes you get the pressure from the coaches and then selling tickets and the promoters and everything. Yeah. But at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, they're not coming and, paying your bills. They're not taking care of you. It's you. So you have to look after yourself sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah. 100% interesting. To end this, Elia, you had quite a journey.
Yes.
Who do you want to thank on your journey so far? Your journey's still going on, maybe not in fighting, but still going
Yeah.
on. But up to this point, who would you like to thank?
There are a lot of people to thank. I feel like I'm gonna like thank like I'm in the Grammys or something. So, obviously my coach, for opening the doors to the gym, when it was back in Thornton Heath, and
Yeah.
it was this cold, smelly. Oh God, the smell! You could smell it from downstairs. But there's so many memories, and then all the people that have come through, all the fighters that I've trained with. I recently saw a friend that used to train at our gym. His name is Carl, and I went to a bloodline show with him when I first started, and we were sitting together. He was like, "Oh, that'll be you one day." I was like, "Never, are you crazy?" And it's funny because obviously then I went on and fought, but then life got in the way, and then he kind of stopped training. And I saw him a few weeks ago, and he was like, "Look at you now, look at you now." And I was like, "I know." So all the guys, that I've trained with, and the girls, not many actually. I've only had two girls, two girls, all my opponents. Silvano for putting up with me for the last 3 years. As the last 3 years have been the roughest one in terms of my career, I think. And every year, promoters have given me a chance to fight on their show. And yeah, just everybody that's been part of my journey, big or small, they've all been part and helped me in some kind of way.
Thank you, Elia. Thank you for being part of my journey, my personal journey as well. So thank you for that. And I've enjoyed this. Thanks.